Hi everybody, Leo Babauta from Zen Habits here. So great to be here with you. In this video, I'm going to talk about this thing called inner peace or Zen-like calm. This is something that a number of you have put into the comments that you would like to have more during your day, which is just this kind of inner calm, no matter what's going on around you. And so I totally get that. This is a really challenging time in a lot of ways. Maybe there's a certain, global set of crises that we're going through. Your political climate might be like rife with strife, but it also could just be your own inner, the life that you're living right now could be filled with a lot of difficult things, from distractions and, aggravating things and frustrations. There's a lot of things that we could be dealing with that really stir up our inner state and make it hard to achieve calm. So I'm going to give you 6 tools to actually move towards that inner calm, that kind of Zen-like state of peace that you are craving, and that is really challenging to deal with right now, or to achieve. So let's see. First tool is what we call noticing. This is awareness. So how can we actually work with the turmoil that's happening inside of us if we're not even noticing that we're stirred up, right? So if there's like some kind of news going on and you're like, why is it like this? So you're feeling anxiety. If you've got a lot going on, you're feeling overwhelmed. If you don't notice that that's happening, there's nothing you can do about it. You're basically powerless. In fact, powerlessness is one of the feelings that we might be feeling that we don't even notice. It's like, the world is just impossible. My life is impossible. This relationship, my work, all the things I have to do feel impossible, and I feel powerless. So we are actually powerless if we don't notice what's going on. So if you want to feel less powerless, the first thing is start to notice in the moment, ideally, when things are stirring you up, when you're feeling some inner turmoil, which could be frustration, anger, anxiety, overwhelm, sadness, fear, shut down, your heart is closed. Maybe you're feeling judgment. Maybe you're like, why are they that way? Whatever it is, just notice what is that state. And so if you imagine a calm, like lake, and then it gets like, splashed up. If you notice the splashing, just watch the splashing. It isn't that there's something wrong with the splashing. It isn't that you caused the splashing. It isn't even that there is someone at fault for the splashing. We're just noticing the state. So we become like these impartial observers of what's going on, like a scientist watching nature. And so that's what we want for this first tool, is just a noticing, an awareness that we are developing. And so ideally it's in the moment. You're like, ooh, right now I'm riled up, right? What am I feeling? What's going on here? What thoughts am I having? Noticing my eyebrows are a little bit out of shape. But anyway, so what thoughts am I having? What emotion am I feeling? Where is it located in my body as sensation? If you notice it in the moment, that's kind of the ideal, but you might not notice it until afterward. So it's like, I snapped at this person I care about. I'm like, I was like a bit short with them. And so just notice that. Or I was irritable all day long. And you might, notice it towards the end of the day. Or yesterday, I was just in a grumpy mood all day, or feeling really down and unmotivated. So you might notice it from the day before. And these are good. If we notice it after the fact, it will actually still help us. But what it's really going to help us with is noticing in the moment the next time it shows up. It's like, oh, I'm grumpy again. It's happening right now. This is really difficult. It's a skill to develop, is to notice and to catch it in the moment. But I really want to encourage you to practice that. Right now, I'm feeling riled up. Right now, I'm feeling sad. Right now, I'm feeling overwhelmed or frustrated or angry. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, is the breath. Now, this is not going to come as a surprise to anyone who has heard about mindfulness or self-improvement of any kind, but the breath is a tool to be used to find this inner calm, this inner peace that we're looking for. And so I think you might know about it, but there's a difference between knowing and actually applying the skill. Knowing is not enough. We have to practice the applying of it. So if you're like, yeah, I already know the breath, the breath, the breath, great. Are you actually applying it? If you are applying it beautifully, immaculately, meticulously, just like with this incredible diligence, you will already have inner calm. So if you're not, then that's a signal like, oh, I still have some practice to do with breath, even though I know intellectually, I know in the brain that it's something that I should be using or I can use or that is helpful. I actually am not applying it. So I want you to actually apply it, and here's how. So let's imagine we catch ourselves in the moment. I'm feeling riled up. So the breath, when we're riled up, when we're in the sympathetic nervous system, which is like fight or flight, freeze, that kind of thing, the breath is going to be shallow and faster, right? That's what's happening when we're like in this fight or flight mode. And so what we want to do is lengthen and deepen the breath. When I say lengthen, I mean in terms of how long it takes to take one breath. Goes from that to that to, and it can even be longer than that. So I've given you some examples, right? You might not actually hear it, but that's the length of the breath. But it's also shallow in terms of um, where it is in your chest. And if you can deepen the breath down into the belly, down into the lower diaphragm, so that your belly is expanding with each breath, it's going to be longer and deeper. And what happens is if you can do that, it will take you out of the fight or flight, the sympathetic nervous system, to the parasympathetic. This is actually proven by science. There's evidence backed behind this. So what we want to do is do that. It'll start to soothe the nervous system. And so now the water is less choppy. It isn't necessarily super calm, but it's less choppy. It's a little smoothed out. And it isn't that there's something wrong with choppy. But what we notice is if we can get into this kind of calmer state, then we can start to practice even more. We have more that we can actually do. But if we're not in that, if we're like, they're like attacking me in some way, or I'm in danger, or I can't do this, I'm overwhelmed, and I'm about to like be shown as inadequate to the world, then we're really going to have a hard time. So deepen the breath. That's number 2. Practice, 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 practice. Number 3 is a wider perspective. And when we are in fight or flight mode, our focus narrows. This is, again, science backed. It is because there's like a danger and we need to really like focus on that. I've been studying chess lately, and I'm terrible at it, but it's fun and I'm learning a lot about how the mind works. When something is under attack or I'm trying to do something on a chessboard, I'm really focused on this area of the chessboard and I totally miss this over here where I've left something unprotected and they can just take my queen or they can easily just checkmate me. Very simple thing. I understand those conceptually. I can see those pretty easily, but not when I'm super focused over here. So my focus is super narrowed because I am stressed and I'm like trying to figure this out and I've forgotten other parts of the board. Now this is a little bit of a metaphor for how we deal with a certain situation. It's like, oh, this person's giving me bad feedback or they're disapproving of me in some way. And so that becomes the entire focus. Again, this is why we tend to notice the negative things in our lives more because we zoom in on those and we can, someone might be giving us compliments, but that one insult is all that we know about. We can pay attention to because we're boom focused on that danger, that like attack. It makes sense in a, we're being chased by a lion kind of sense. But what if um, we're not actually in danger? And so if we can widen our perspective, first thing is that it will actually tell our brain you're not in any danger. If you are paying attention to the leaves on that tree, there must not be a lion in the room. Right? So right now I'm looking out, I've widened my perspective. I could see the leaves kind of blowing in the wind and the sunlight all around them and the clouds behind it. If I'm paying attention to the clouds, there's no lion. It's impossible, right? So the brain's like, we must be in safety. So widening your perspective, and I mean your literal physical perspective of what you can see in this moment right now in the space around you. Widening that tells your brain things are calm. There's nothing to worry about. That's the first thing. The second thing is it actually just relaxes you a little bit because you're like, oh, there's more to life than this one little thing that I've been worrying about. There's nature, right? I'm alive right now. There's wonder in the world. There's light, there's colors, there's sound, there's music, there's dance, there's children outside, there's people getting married, falling in love, kissing for the first time. Like there's a lot more to life than this one thing. So widening our perspective, how it might look in practice is like, oof, I'm really like riled up by this. Let me take some deep breaths and then notice what else is going on in the room around me, outside, in my neighborhood, in my town or city, in the world. Not like global crises and news, but just more like there are people alive, there's oceans, there's mountains. Can I just kind of have that bigger perspective? And once we do that, things start to calm down and we have a little bit of more appreciation for the wonder and awe of life and less like focus on the catastrophe, the calamity that's going on right in front of us. Okay, that's number 3. Widen your perspective. Number 4 is love. Now we can put it in different words, compassion. We can say sympathetic love, like I really care about this person in front of me. But it's a love that goes inward and outward. So I have love for myself. It's like, yeah, I'm doing my best. I really appreciate the efforts I've been doing. I really care about how I'm feeling. And then I might give the same kind of love to the person in front of me. They're doing their best. I really appreciate how much they're trying here. And I really care about how they feel. And then widen it out. I care about my team, my family, my friends, my neighborhood, my global community. I care about how they're feeling. I get that everyone's doing their best. I really appreciate what everyone's been trying to do. So this, we can call it love, but it's a caring about others and ourselves at the same time. So just remind yourself of that and practice it. It's a practice, just like all of the rest of this. The 5th thing, so 4th is love, 5th is stillness. And if you imagine there's a river just rushing past you, right? Shh. And when you're in a river and you're like, it's rapids and I need to like, thrash about. You're, first of all, it's natural to like thrash about when there's a rushing river. But second of all, it's not always the most helpful. Sometimes just relaxing and taking a breath and then finding a spot on the shore to kind of head towards is more helpful than thrashing about. And the next, what I want to encourage you to remember is actually we're not in danger in these rapids. It's just a flowing river. It's not even a dangerous one. It just seems like it's dangerous, but right now, what if you could just relax in the middle of this river? flowing past you. So and this river is a metaphor for life. So the life is flowing past us. There's a lot going on. Things are happening all around us. And we can just sit still. Imagine we could like be in the middle of a river, but like on a rock, just sitting there on the rock and just kind of appreciating the flow of life all around us. So as we sit in stillness, maybe in a meeting, maybe as we have a conversation, we're just sitting in some stillness and appreciating the flow of life. Maybe we sit on a park bench as we go out for a walk, and then sit down on a park bench and just appreciate the flow of life around you. Or go out into a sidewalk in a city and just appreciate the flow of humanity all around you. You are the rock of stillness in the midst of the flowing stream. And if you can practice that in those kinds of situations, you can practice it in any moment. Okay, that's number 5. Number 6, last one, is something that I'm going to call interstitial spaces. Or if we want to use a less fancy word, I don't know if you guys are fancy or not. Take your pick, right? Choose your own adventure. So less fancy is the space between. Dave Matthews song, I think. So imagine that there's space between everything in life, right? Right between me and you right now, or you and your computer monitor, or you and the walls around you. There's space. We don't normally appreciate that space. And so that's a physical space, but it's also there's space in time, right? So let's say I have a call and then I have something, I have to go to an appointment after that, right? There's 2 big things. And these are the things that my mind is focused on, but I don't pay attention to the space between those. Maybe there's 20 minutes between the 2 of them, maybe an hour. And I'm just like going from one thing to the next. And like, how do I fill that space? I don't think of it that way, but that's actually what I'm doing is getting on my phone, getting my computer, doing whatever I can do. What if I could put some importance on the space in between? I had a teacher, a Zen teacher. I still have that teacher, but she talked about the space between. She's like, the space between when you park your car in a parking lot and you get to the appointment. There's a space when you're moving in between, and can you like treat that as just as important as the drive and the appointment? That space in between. And so starting to appreciate the space between. There's also a space between breaths, between words, as you speak them, as you read them. There's space between all of this. And if we start to appreciate that, life feels a little more spacious. We have a little bit of room to breathe, and things just start to feel a little nicer during the day. So I want to encourage you to practice noticing the space between. Okay, that's what I've got for you today. These are 6 practices, tools for achieving that Zen inner calm, even when life is feeling like a rushing river full of turmoil. My friends, I am Leo Babauta of Zen Habits. Please subscribe to this channel if you want more of this content. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. It really helps others to find it. And then leave a comment. Share the channel with others. If you think someone else really wants this kind of Zen calm, send this video to them. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you everybody for being a part of this community. I will talk to you in the next video.